Okay, I want to look at creatively blending two images, and we're going to go with the woman in the road. We have got somewhere, if I can find Word, a handout. I've said handout. Here's one we made earlier, but we're gonna do it with some different images, see what happens. So I've got myself a nice road image off the Pixabay, and I'm going to place embedded this another image I got off Pixabay of a woman in a kayak, who knows, which I want to place somewhere on the road like that. If I turn on the opacity, I can mess with her position and size and still see what I'm doing. I'm holding down Alt and dragging this up from the corner because it will scale it from the center. That doesn't look too bad about that. So I'm going to OK that, turn my opacity back up, and I want to try and cut this lady out. So I'm going to use the new object selection tool. If you don't see it, if you right click on here, you get these three options. In fact, any of these buttons with a little tiny triangle in the corner have multiple icons hidden beneath. So I'm going to drag a box around her and her canoe, and as if by magic, it cuts her out, which isn't too badly. We've missed a few spots here and there. To fix that, I'm going to get onto my quick selection tool, pressing Alt to turn it into a subtraction, and pressing Alt again to subtract from that space. We're quite close now, so I'm just going to go on to select and mask, just my opacity here so I can actually see what I'm doing, and using the refine edge brush tool, let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Just have a quick skim around the edges just to tidy up any really poor bits. How are we doing there? We can look at that, that's fine. So I'm going to go OK, and then I'm going to hit my mask button down here, which will get rid of my background. Hey presto, woman on road. Now it's not perfect, there's some pieces missing, but don't worry, we're going to hopefully rectify that. And you see the mask is predominantly black, because black's concealing all the stuff. So we want a white brush, this white soft brush, to reveal some of these areas and just pick out some of the water. That's probably enough for the time being. And then we want to duplicate this layer by dragging it down to the new layer button at the bottom, and we're going to call this one hard light. Hard light, and we're going to call it that because we're going to set its blend mode to hard light over here, which is in there if you didn't catch it, and select its mask again, and we're just going to draw it a little bit further, like so. So we've got woman and a canoe paddling up the road. Okay. I want to group these two layers together so I can use a clipping mask on them. So I'm going to shift select, holding the shift button. So these are two are light grey. Then I'm going to hit the create new group. And we've got a group. And now I want to add a fill or adjustment layer. And I want it to be hue saturation. Cool so far. Now at the moment it's not set to clip. If I turn my saturation all the way up, Can you see the woman and the road are all being affected by the slider? That's not what I want. So I turn that back to 0. Now if I press this little button here, it creates a clip effect. Now if I do the same thing with my saturation, turn it all the way up, so it's just affecting her, which is ace. Now I want to get rid of just the blue color really. So if I select blue from this drop down and desaturate it, yes, ignore it altogether. Let's try cyan, which is kind of bluey. There we go. That's better. Okay, so it's starting to match up with the road now. Well, that's no, that's probably good. That's probably good. Right. So we're reasonably happy with that. There are there's a little bit of fringing around her, but by the time it's down to its ordinary size, we'll be more than fine with that. I'm just going to extend this water out a little bit further here and there, just to make the effect a little bit more convincing. That's pretty good. Like that. Right. Next thing I want to do is blur the road. Now, what I want to do to blur the road, let's close my group down, is I want to convert the road into a smart object. So I'm going to right click it and convert it to a smart object. And then I want to go to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur, which is way too blurry. I want to get it to about probably about 2.6 for this one, which is good. Now, because we're using a smart object, the Gaussian blur has got its own little, it's sort of like a mask, filter effect mask thumbnail. And what's cool about this is it now lets us brush out some of the blur here and there. Now, because this is white, we want to paint on it in black, because black conceals. And I'm just going to big up my brush a bit and start painting some of this in, bringing it back into focus. So we kind of create a little bit of a depth of field trick. And hey presto, result. Thank you for watching. Stop recording.